What if I told you the best thing you can do with your dissertation is to not publish it? Stick around and I'll explain why. Hi there, I'm Dr. Kenyon Wong and I teach research at 2 UK universities and support postgraduate students on their dissertations and theses through my business. A lot of students come to me with the same question: should I publish my dissertation? On the surface, it sounds like an obvious next step, but the truth is, aiming to publish can actually create more problems than you might expect. In this video, I'm going to walk you through why that urge to publish can sometimes hold you back, hurting your learning, slowing your progress. I will show you how to think differently about your dissertation so that you can make the most of it without adding unnecessary stress. If you want to make sure you don't miss any of my videos about academic tools and tips for postgraduate research students, make sure you are subscribed and ding that notification bell. So let's get started with the first thing you need to understand. Your dissertation is about learning how to do research. When students start thinking about publication from day one, they start to get scared of making mistakes. Every decision feels high stakes. They stop avoiding experimentation or challenging approaches because they're worried that it won't be perfect. The irony is that this obsession with perfection often backfires. They spend too much time on the early parts of the study trying to get everything flawless, and then they end up rushing the later sections because time is running out. I've seen students and clients spend 3 full months trying to perfect a search strategy and leave themselves with only 3 months to do the remainder of the entire review. I've also seen students delaying recruitment of participants because they're too scared to send out their email blast, or fumble having to manage second and third reviewers, straining their already very tight dissertation schedule. The point is that your dissertation is meant to be a learning process. Mistakes, dead ends, small failures aren't just inevitable. They're essential for your learning. They teach you how to think critically, refine your methods and understand your field. Make mistakes, talk to your supervisor, tweak, and then move forward. If you're constantly trying to write like a journal article from the start, you miss the whole point. You're not learning, you're just trying to look perfect on paper. In fact, the perfect paper doesn't actually make for a good dissertation. And conversely, a dissertation that meets all of the marking criteria rarely translates directly into a journal article. Dissertations are written with assessments in mind. Every section, paragraph, and every reference is designed to show that you understand the theory, methodology, and analysis expected by your markers. It is actually about demonstrating learning, not necessarily making an original, concise contribution to the field. That means that a dissertation might have a long literature review that wouldn't fit in a journal article, method sections written to show that you follow the rules, read the right books, rather than streamlined for clarity, explanations and reflections included to meet the marking criteria, not because they move research forward. Trying to turn that into a publication often requires rewriting most of it. In many ways, you're not publishing your dissertation, you're writing a new paper from scratch, based on what you've already learned. The bottom line is this: a dissertation and a journal article serve 2 different purposes. Treating one like the other sets you up for frustration and a lot of extra work later. So even if your dissertation looks solid, there is another challenge to consider. Most dissertations simply aren't ready for publication. Along with the research process, it is normal to make changes. Maybe you updated your protocol, refined your eligibility criteria, adjusted recruitment methods, or added a new setting for data collection. All of this is fine for a dissertation, but for a journal, these changes can introduce bias or weaken the perceived rigor of your study. From a reader's perspective, a paper like this can look polished on the surface, but underneath, the research might not actually meet the standard journal expectations. From empirical studies, this can be even trickier. Collecting new data is very, very tough, especially when you need ethical approval or updated ethical approvals, and trying to publish with a small or inconsistent data set can be very risky. A smarter approach is to use what you've learned. After finishing a degree, you can redesign the study or expand it, incorporating the lessons and the feedback that you have received, and then produce a paper that is actually publication ready. By now you might be thinking, okay, maybe I could get this published, but should I? Here's the thing: even if your dissertation could become a paper, the timing often works against you. Right after submitting, you have just invested months, sometimes years, into a project. This is the moment when you should be moving forward. Starting a new research project, applying what you have learned, building your expertise, or even using your work for career opportunities. Chasing publication at this stage can trap you in a cycle of revisions, reviewer feedback, and resubmissions that drag on for months or even years. On top of that, While a manuscript is under consideration, there are restrictions on what you can share. You can't publicly post the full paper, distribute it fully, or potentially use it in a presentation or share it in newsletters that your co-workers might actually be reading. Your ability to actually use the research then becomes limited until you actually get it published. In other words, focusing on publishing right now might actually hold you back from making the most out of the work you have already done. Now that we've seen the downsides, let's talk about how to turn your dissertation into an advantage, because your dissertation is still a very powerful asset. Instead of getting stuck in the publication cycle, you can put your work to use immediately. For example, apply your findings to your workplace or community to drive real change. Share insights through talks, workshops, blogs to build your profile. Use it as a foundation for a stronger or more rigorous study in the future. Showcase your expertise in a niche area, which can then open doors for promotion or collaboration in the future. The key idea is this: you do not need a journal article to make an impact. Your dissertation has value as it is. You just need to be strategic about how you use it. By thinking this way, you can get recognition, build your experience, and make meaningful contributions without getting trapped in months or years of revisions and restrictions. Essentially, you are leveraging what you've already done without slowing yourself down. This is not to say that there is no value in publishing. In fact, if you're headed to a PhD after or enter academia, a publication puts you in a stronger position. The point here is that you need to be clear about what you want as your next step and use your dissertation strategically. I talk about this in the video linked above with real examples of what my students and clients have done. So here's the big takeaway. Many students assume that publishing their dissertation is the obvious next step, but that's a myth. Publication in a journal doesn't automatically equal success. The real question isn't, can I publish this? It's, what's the best way to make use of this work to reach my goals? By focusing on learning, applying your insights, and leveraging your dissertation strategically, you can actually make real progress, build your expertise, and create impact without getting stuck in a long, slow, and often very restrictive process of trying to get published immediately. If you're watching this, you'll probably find my previous video on how to get more out of your dissertation research idea really helpful too. I will see you in the next video. Goodbye!